the guys just needed to, they just needed to talk to someone, you know. They just needed to be able to let it out what they were going through.
Huh.
And I feel good. Name of the show today is Holding Back Tears. We wear masks to conceal our tears, to conceal our emotions, to conceal our feelings. Now, this is really about everyone, but I want to focus a bit on men in general, or men specifically, rather, um, in holding back tears and concealing your emotions. It seems like in our society that we live in, it's like one of the things I really don't like when I hear men say, "Oh, she's just a woman. She's emotional. You know, she's just a woman." It's to be expected. It may not sound like much to you, but the flip side of that is a man is not supposed to be emotional. Not supposed to be in his feelings. He's not supposed to show his emotions. He's supposed to have more control over his emotions. Okay? Try to follow me. Um, there has to be balance in all things, right? It's the yin and the yang, the holy trilogy. Um, Men are emotional and women are emotional too. So when you say stuff like, "Oh, she's just a woman," it's to be expected for her to be emotional, then that the flip side of that is saying that as a man, you're not supposed to be emotional. So our society trains us to not show our emotions as men, you know, to not let it out. Like, you're not supposed to cry. You're weak. You're a weak man if you cry. You weak man crying in front of people or crying in public or crying in front of your children or in front of your wife or whatever. You're a weak man. You're supposed to hold that in, you know. If you gotta cry, go do it by yourself in your car or in the bathroom or something while you're taking a shower. What is it? The song, I hope the rain falls, you know. So if it's raining, then you can't tell I'm crying. I can't. I botched that line all the way up, but I'm sure some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, holding back tears for men specifically. Um, you know, I also think there's a connection here to your heart health. Now we're talking about overall health, period, spiritual health, emotional health, but I'm talking about a physical, direct implication connected to your heart. And I'm not talking about in no like metaphysical way. Like, no, I'm talking about a biological result of not crying related to your heart health, having heart conditions, having heart attacks, having an unhealthy physical heart. I'm talking about your biological heart. Now I don't know. I haven't done much studying into this. It's a bit of a hunch that I have that there's a connection related to crying and your heart, the health of your heart. I'm talking about your biological heart, your actual beating heart that's in your chest, and it being healthy. Okay, it's kind of like laughs, right? We know that laughing makes you more healthy, right? We know this. We know that laughing is good for your health. So, how come we don't think that crying could be good for our health? Like physical health. I'm not talking about no emotional stuff, spirituality, metaphysics. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like directly, like how we know smoking is bad for your health, like like direct correlation. I believe crying has a direct correlation to your heart health. Okay. Now, you know, even further, it has to do with your emotional health and your spiritual health and your balance. You being able to maneuver the world, you know, better, you know, being a more whole human, you know. Um, like I said, society tells us if you're a woman, you're supposed to be emotional and they're crying a lot and whatever, and it's just acceptable. But for a man, it's not. So then, therefore, we, even though we're emotional creatures, just like women are, because we're just yin and the yang of each other, we're just humans. We got some different plumbing, but basically overall we're the same. So when we bottle up these emotions, then we're causing us physical damage, like I say, directly to your heart. We're causing us emotional damage. We're causing spiritual damage, and we're causing mental damage. So when we think about the mental health of a man, you know, the mental health of a man, um, one of the direct things, I think that one of the first things that you want to look at is, have you cried? When was the last time you cried? You know, actually let tears flow. We all hurt sometimes. We all struggle sometimes. We all feel down sometimes. We all fall down sometimes. It's like with my daughter, like, and she's a girl, and she falls and she hits her knee or something. And maybe it's because, she didn't really have a mom growing up, but she doesn't really cry when in those situations. Like, maybe it'll be one tear will come out. Like, it'll literally be one tear will come out, you know? And I don't know if it's because of me. I really don't. But she hardly ever cries. And when she does cry, that it hits me really hard because I know her and I know that she doesn't really cry, you know? So, and then when she does cry, it's usually about something that's not like a physical pain. It's usually something else, like, a kind of emotional pain, a mental pain, something that happened that bothered her a lot, that brings her to tears. But when it's like comes to like physical pain, she hardly ever cries from that, you know. And I wonder if it's because of me, being that I was a single father. Her mom passed when she was really young. That's one of the things I struggle with, you know. The children, they need a balance. They need a mom and a dad. They need that, you know. And when they don't, there's gonna be repercussions like that, because I'm like that. I notice that I'm like that. When I'm really, really upset, sometimes it'll just be one tear. One tear will come out, and that's when I'm really, really, really upset. It's like I'm so a lot of times it comes with anger. Like I'm really, really angry. I'm so angry that it makes me cry. You know what I mean? I'm just angry, and one tear comes out. But when the tears flood, it usually happens like from something that's kind of detached from me, something that's not as direct. Like it'll be a movie that I'm watching, and it's like I know that this stuff isn't even real or whatever, but it's like the idea of it, and I can feel it. and the tears will flow, flow, flow. And it'll be like that with a song too. Sometimes I hear a song and it catches me at the right or wrong time, depending on how you want to look at it. And the tears will flow. It'll just flow, 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 flow. Because it's like, and it's really weird because in those instances, I'm not attached to the event or whatever it is. Like there's a barrier, there's a separation there. But when there's a situation that directly impacts me, that I'm directly hurt by, that's when I don't cry. That's when you just get the one tear, maybe, you know? And I don't know, that's some kind of thing. There's a problem. There's a psychological issue going on there where I bawl out my eyes for some movie. It could be like one of my favorite movies is 50 First Dates. Okay. Now, this might sound strange because we were talking about horror movies and how much I like them. And I'm not really a romantic comedy kind of guy. Really, I'm not. But that movie, 50 First Dates, it really strikes me. And I've watched it many times. And if anybody wants to watch it with me, I'll watch it again. And there's multiple parts of the movie that just bring me to tears. There's the part at the end where, so just the gist of the movie, the lady had a head injury and she couldn't remember past the day. She only had, it affected her short-term memory. So she had the memories of her childhood or whatever, but she couldn't remember anything past the day of the accident when she had the head accident. So every day she forgets everything that happened that day. And it is like she goes back to the right before the head injury happening. Okay. So, but then this guy, he falls in love with her. He really falls in love with her. And he wants to deal with it. He decides, that she is the one or whatever. And this mental condition, this head problem that she has, this memory problem that she has, he just finds ways around it. And at the end of the movie, she comes out, and then again, she wakes up, she forgets everything again. By this time, they have like a little system going. He has a little video that she watches when she wakes up to give her a gist of what has happened since her accident. And she comes out, she's on a boat, she has a child, because they're married or whatever, they have a baby. She realizes that she has a whole like husband, and he's like, he introduces her to her daughter every day. Like, I don't know, like that scene right there, it hits me so hard because for someone to go so far to deal with this really difficult thing to deal with, out of love, it's just a thing that hits me hard. So I don't know. Um, what's up, Pat? How you feeling? But like I say, the topic, holding back tears, especially for men, and its impact on our physical health and it impact